today we're going to be talking about balancing businesses and relationships, and can we have both? I know that especially as mompreneurs, we're full-time moms and we are full-time bosses, okay, of our businesses, and I'm sure that you are too. And one of the biggest struggles that a lot of us have as girls and as power girls or as boss girls, we struggle with being able to juggle our careers, our businesses, along with our husbands, our kids, our families. And today we're kind of more so, zooming in on our relationships with our significant others or our lovers, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, whatever. We're more so talking about our love relationships, but some of these tips can also be applied to family members, close family members and friends if you are in a loving relationship. And that's kind of like what we're chopping it up about today. So as you guys come in, please be sure to click the share button and the invite button, and let's get these people up in here so we can chop it up about this topic. Okay, so we were talking, Julia, about like, what are the main problems? And as you guys are joining in, let us know what you think. What are some of the main problems and struggles that you're having when it comes to your relationship versus your business, like balancing that? What are some problems that you're having, like with your spouse? We're going to get open today. Your significant other that you feel like is a struggle when it comes to you doing business versus your relationships. And we kind of like identified some problems. So the first one was lack of support. A lot of people deal with being in business and they don't really feel like their significant other or their loved one supports them in business, right, Julia? And what was another one that we kind of thought was a common one?
The other one was time strain, like the time strain that the business puts on your relationship. I think some of the biggest things is that we are so in love with our business as we are our spouse or our significant others, but sometimes we tend to forget, and we kind of overload our plate with just our business, forgetting that there are other people who need our love too.
Right. Yes. So that time strain that being in business puts on our relationships can be tough as well. Also competition, power struggle, change of roles, feelings of insignificance. Sometimes, we're in situations where, how the world puts, weight on different genders and different roles. And when those roles change, or when who makes the money in the household shifts, it can be a bit of a power struggle sometimes in relationships when it comes to this. Hey, welcome in, Alicia. Welcome in, Sharice. Sharice says time management. Her husband and I are entrepreneurs and supportive, but the time isn't on our side as much sometimes. And I completely can relate to that, Sharice, because both my husband and I are entrepreneurs as well. My husband is a part-time entrepreneur as well as still in his career. And I am a full-time entrepreneur and, of course, mompreneur. And sometimes having time and understanding that the other person is working on their business, yes, it definitely can be a challenge at times, finding that time for one another. And me and Julia kind of chopped it up about that, and she's had some struggles with that as well. So, yeah, definitely. That's a good one. So welcome in, everybody. Once again, this is Girl Power Ignite. Julia, Wali, and Dallas Gordon here with you live. We are talking today about how to balance business and family relationships, especially love relationships. Okay, guys? And can we have both? All right. So as you're coming in, let us know some of the struggles that you think that, maybe you deal with your relationship versus business, and or just some common struggles. We've talked about lack of support, time strain, and power struggle, feelings of insignificance. So welcome in, everybody. We're going to first tackle lack of support. That's where we're actually going to start. So why is there, that lack of support? Why doesn't your mate, some of you might wonder, okay, I'm in business and maybe my mate doesn't support me. Maybe I don't feel as though, they're interested in what I have going on. And, why do we think that is an issue? Why aren't partners or wives and husbands or whatever the situation are, why aren't we supporting our mates? And
I think one of the biggest things on that, and we touched on it when we spoke, is like the communication, a lot of communication. If they don't really know what's going on with your business or don't have an idea of what's going on, then that can cause that lack of support, because they're not aware. They're not in alignment with you, you know? So if you have all of the things going on with your business, all your spouse sees you neglecting, you know, the family. So that can then cause a sense of lack of support. Like, why should I support you if you're not in turn supporting the family, you know? So that's something that not exactly, but that's kind of how it works a little bit in my past. And one of the biggest things is that you have to be open, you have to communicate. And it doesn't matter if you have to extend that communication to someone else. A lot of people may be looking at maybe getting someone else to help you, but counseling is a big piece. Having that third party out there to help balance things out is extremely, extremely important. And I can't stress enough how that helped me and my partner and us to have an understanding and an open line of communication.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Like, one thing that I can say is that in my marriage, we don't really have a big problem with support. But I believe one of the main reasons that we're unified is because we give each other the freedom to do different things. So I'm not expecting him to be into what I'm doing all the time, meaning that he doesn't have to do my e-commerce coaching business with me. He's not an e-commerce coach. And he doesn't expect me to have to run his business side by side with him. He owns a football league. He trades. He does a lot of things that I particularly have no real interest in as far as me participating. However, one way that we do connect is by showing interest as far as giving an ear, giving advice, and supporting one another and showing up for one another. He'll pop into one of my live videos every now and then. He will back my businesses financially. He will give me words of encouragement, but we talk openly about everything because we are the ultimate business partner. We're the ultimate business partner. So even though we do run very different businesses, because we're a unit, we operate as one, meaning that at the end of the day, we are partners. So we discuss everything.
Right.
If I had frustration today in my coaching business or a difficult client, I will talk to him about it. If I made sales in my business, he can see that money. I'm not hiding that money from him. I'm not hiding my success from him. So he can see how I'm progressing and he can see how successful I am. And because I'm allowing him to enjoy it and vice versa, we're very supportive. But I think some couples aren't able to support one another because we aren't sharing. We aren't sharing. And I think, Julie, one thing we talked about in some relationships, right? Alicia says her husband is home now, so he's able to see all the juggling she does. And Sharice says finding balance is important for sure. So we got some people chiming in as well. But I think we talked about this, Julie, that sometimes your partner they aren't interested. So you go and talk to them about what you have going on. What do you do if they're just not interested? Like, they're like, I don't want to hear this. This isn't important to me. In that case, I feel like it's time to get some help because both people should be interested in what the other person is doing. Even if that's not necessarily your thing, you can listen and you can show your support, you know?
Right. I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not interested in what touchdown my husband made today or what happened on his team. I'm not a sports fanatic, guys. I mean, don't hate me for it, but I'm really just not. And I will watch basketball with the guys in the house and stuff every now and then, and I will watch the Super Bowl, but I'm not a fanatic. So half of the stuff he's talking to me about, I don't even know what that is, but I listen because that's my husband and that's my partner in life. And I want to know about what he's interested in. And if I can give any advice, for how he runs his league, or if I can give any support, I'm going to do that. Okay. I don't run the league with him, but I am a support to him. And I think that means the world to him, that I'm not closed. I'm open to what it is that he's doing, And
I think that's another thing, like, just kind of feeling like you have to be all in with your partner. Like you said earlier, like you don't have to know everything and like everything about what's going on. You can show support in other ways. You can just literally maybe show up for a game, sit there for a half a quarter or whatever the case may be, and just your presence enough shows them that you support what they're doing.
Yeah, every now and then. I think that sometimes we have this picture that we have to do everything that our mate is doing. Thanks, Shantae, and welcome in. And guys, just to reset, this is Dallas and Julia, Girl Power Ignite Movement and Extended Network. Please definitely show some love by sharing this out and inviting some people in. This is a hot topic, and we want to get out there. And this is, can you juggle, your business and your relationship, and tips for doing that. So definitely, I just feel like if you are interested, in your partner, you don't have to do everything the same. You don't even have to do everything in life together, but you do need to show that you do care and just have an open relationship, just have open sharing. And I think that can help with that. So what's our next one, Julia, that we wanted to tackle today?
The next one was time strain.
Okay. So with the time strain, it can be hard to find time. And I think a lot of you ladies out there, you said that as well. It can be hard to find that time for your relationship in the midst of kids, school, business, work. How do you find time? And Julia, I'll let you talk a little bit on that one. How do we find that time?
This is definitely a struggle topic for me. Like, I've been on the struggle bus with this for the longest, trying to incorporate family time, husband time, work time, school time, just because we're juggling so much. For one, we have to look at our plates. We have to notice when we're full. Sometimes our eyes are bigger than our stomach, and we have to eliminate some things off of our plate. So first, let's take a look at that. Remove some things that aren't quite necessary at the moment, and then move forth after that. And create a schedule, work with your partner, create a schedule that'll work out for the both of you and your family. So that way you're not feeling like anyone is left out. And don't overwork yourself too much. Like, the work is going to be there. Do what's necessary for the day and then move on. Like, I have a really huge problem with getting into activities and just keep going and going and going and going, because sometimes I feel like I just need to finish it when it was already done a long time ago. So just know when to put down the pen and paper, to close the laptop, to turn over the phone, and then go use that time that you're about to extend with your significant other. So that's something that I'm working on, like, right now at this very moment, because I'm kind of at a plateau with my businesses, and I don't want to decrease it. I don't want it to go down. So I have to figure out how to balance that time to where my husband knows that he is important, and I appreciate all that he's doing. So let me close my laptop and go spend that time with him. So definitely take a look at your plate and notice that sometimes you got too much on it and you can't eat it all.
Yes, 100%. I mean, Cherie says that her husband and I have agreed after a certain time on days that they don't allow cell phones and et cetera, which is awesome. And Shantae is saying yes, and be consistent with the schedule. Yes, definitely. So I agree with both of you on that. I agree with you, Julia, as well. I think that it's ongoing work with finding time, finding time for your spouse, finding time to be romantic, finding the time to nurture that bond that you have with your spouse and that friendship that you have with your spouse. I know with us, in our case, it's still a battle. It's still something that we are constantly working on. And it's a big deal because for us, we have 2 taller age children. I mean, one is 5, so she's kind of like pre-K. I don't know if that's really considered still taller. Yeah, but she's still a taller. Then we have the one that just turned 3. Our 15-year-old really isn't a problem as far as our us time. But the 2 girls close in age, and they don't like to sleep in their beds at night. And, sometimes they run back to us a million times a night, and they're just wearing us down, and they're just breaking us down until we give in and say, just sleep with us, It is rough. It is so rough finding time, to have that nurturing time for you and your mate. And one thing that we have been doing, which has been pretty awesome, instead of waiting for those big trips that we take a few times a year, we just take like little mini trips. We have this place that we found in Alexandria, Virginia, and we live in Maryland. So we go right on the other side of DC to Alexandria, Virginia, about once a month, where we go and we stay overnight. We go, we eat at all the vegan spots. We stay overnight. We sleep in, okay? And then we head back home. And it's a very short stay, right? It's a very, very short stay, but it reunites us, and we get a chance to rest, and we get a chance to just be me and him, no noise, no kids. And it's something we do once a month. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot. And now I've learned to close my laptop, around the time that the kids come in and around 7, 8 o'clock. Once we put the kids in bed, it's just me and him. It takes a lot to not be on my phone during that time. It takes a lot of discipline, but we're working on it, and it's good. Like, scheduling is important to say, if this is the set time for me and you, let's not bring work into it. Let's not bring, other things into our bedroom or into our space. Let's focus on us. Yeah.
And I think that time that you guys take is extremely important. My husband and I used to do that all the time when we lived in Alexandria, Virginia. We would literally go on lunch dates like 2 or 3 times a week, and it was the best. So that's something that we're trying to recreate as well. Just like you, we're looking for little local vegan spots and trying to get our little lunch dates. And so recently we've had a lot more of those things. And sometimes it can get a little hard to put the phone down because you find yourself on this set schedule with your business and you put it above the set schedule that you have with your significant other. So that's something I'm trying to balance out and diminish, because my relationship with my husband is more important than my business, because without him, where would I be? So that's definitely something that I'm trying to balance out and kind of incorporate our little dates again. Because date night, date afternoon, date morning, we get up 6 o'clock in the morning and sometimes just chat, because those are times that we know that our kids aren't up. So definitely find that time, wherever that gap is, find that time and definitely talk, or even just engage with your significant other.
I agree. And I see people coming in here. Hey, Shaniqua. Hey, Janine Cummins. Welcome in, love. Hey, everybody. Hey, Elder. Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much. A little quick reset. It's Dallas and Julia here with Girl Power Ignite. We are talking about balancing business and relationships. And even if whether you have a relationship or not, you have some close relationships in your life, whether it be family or friends. And can we have both? Can we have it all? We're chopping it up about that today. And I think that it's all like priorities, right? And being able to put those priorities in order. And I think that my business flows a lot better when my children feel loved, my husband and I's relationship is put in the first place, and my house is clean.
Yep.
So when I put those things first and I take time to plan ahead and organize with those things, I feel like my business activities fall into place a lot better, and I spend less time having to run my business. It just seems to all flow together. But when everything is unorganized, the marriage is backwards and upside down, and it's not working, you don't have any time, you're just doing busy work, and it's frustrating. You know what I mean? So this is an awesome topic, guys.
It really is.
It's awesome as well. Definitely awesome. So the last one we have is, it's a lot all in one. We have like competition. Have you guys experienced being in a relationship with someone who couldn't handle your success? That the competition was a bit much for them. They competed with you instead of being on your team. Have you dealt with a power struggle? Like, who has the power in the relationship? Have you dealt with change of roles? So maybe one person was the breadwinner in the house, or maybe the sole breadwinner, and now it's you. And the pressure is on, and that's creating friction in your relationship. Or maybe one partner is dealing with feelings of insignificance. How can we reiterate to our partner how much they mean to us, how much of a priority that they are to us? How can we avoid those feelings of insignificance? So, Julia, I'll let you take this one away, and I'll follow up later.
All right. I personally haven't dealt with that, but I will say that there are definitely numerous ways that you can show support or feel like show your partner that they are significant. One, you got to create that, like Dallas said, prioritize, let them know that they are important. Go ahead and pull them into your life, discuss, communicate, share with them the things that are going on. There were roles that were switched in my lifestyle. I was the stay-at-home mom all the time, and my husband was the worker, but we're both full-time entrepreneurs. But I'm the head of the household, you know what I'm saying? The queen runs the ship. So when this queen had other obligations going on, other things going on, things lacked. So I had to find out a way to, balance the both. That kind of goes into time management for me. And it was really hard for my husband to make that shift into, house husband. He's a great and amazing dad, but I'm the chef, you know what I mean? So it was like, how do we incorporate, how do we change that? And all of that comes with communication. So in regards to making your partner know that they are significant, that they are an important part in your life, just definitely do more. We can say things all day, but your actions speak louder than your words. Do more. Show up. Show up like you show up for your business. If you have to, make your husband your business. Make your significant other your business, Excuse me, because if you're showing up all day for your business and you're not showing up for your partner, of course he's going to feel like he's competing with your business. Like, what's more important to you? Is it your business or is it me? Like, let me know that I matter. So that's what I would have to say in regards to that piece of it.
Yeah, so we'd be interested for you guys and girls to pop some comments. What have you dealt with? What have you dealt with in the past when it comes to this? What struggles have you had with balancing relationships and business? We definitely like to hear about it. We are not relationship counselors. That's one thing. I do have a bachelor's in divinity. Julia is a life coach. We are, we have our stuff, our ducks in a row with that, but I am not specifically a relationship counselor. All I can tell you is that we're chatting it up today. We're having some girl power talk. I have a relationship, a happy marriage. Julia does as well. So we're just talking about some of the struggles with being able to balance business and your relationship. So we definitely would love to hear from you guys and welcome in. And please help us out by sharing and inviting. That will be super awesome. And yes, I agree. I mean, when it comes to the switching of roles, I can say for my own personal relationship, my husband and I are pretty old-fashioned, and in a way that he's a man's man and I'm a woman's woman. So it's just because of who we are. It's not necessarily because we believe in roles. It's just that we sort of fall into certain roles because of how we're made up. Like I'm a girly girl. I don't like to do a lot of working as far as trash, as far as tools. You know what I'm saying? Like Julia can do something with a wrench. Okay.
Yeah, girl.
Right? So if we're ever out and our tire is flat, your girl's going to be on the phone calling 911 and Julia's going to be out there working that tool, okay? So I am not that girl, okay? I don't know if I've ever taken the trash out in my life. I have never cut the grass. I am so girly, okay? And it's just the way that I am, okay? And my husband is very manly. He really enjoys taking care of a woman. He likes to do things for me. He likes to be that man to me. And it's just the way he is. And it's just the way I am. And maybe that's why we mesh. So we are very old fashioned in our roles, but our roles over time, they change. And they have changed. Like, for instance, ladies, my last child that I had, I got sick. I was very sick throughout the entire pregnancy. So I really fell out of love with cooking. Even after I had the baby, I still refused to cook, okay? So he, just out of nowhere, got his chef hat on.
What?
So he started cooking. And he's pretty darn good at it. So since we've made the switch with our eating and it's cutting out certain foods and first becoming vegetarian, then becoming vegan, working out more, drinking more water, just taking care of ourselves better. Now the family knows him as chef number 2. I can't give him head chef, but he is chef number 2. So we alternate. So when one person doesn't feel like cooking, the other person cooks. And there's no real roles with that. And I just feel like it's a partnership. It's a team. And I think the more that we look at each other like partners and teams, your significant other is the ultimate business partner. And you have to look at them like that. No, you don't do all of your businesses together, but it's a partnership. So where he can't do something, when he's too tired to deal with the kids, I need to give him rest. I need to step up, and vice versa. Because where one is weak, the other one is strong, and we are stronger together.
And that's something I feel like I need to pick up on, because I'm so used to being like, my husband is real good at making me feel spoiled. So there are times I feel like, man, I ain't doing nothing. No, I'm not feeling well. And he'll take the brunt of it. He'll go hard, like all day in the house with the girls and stuff. And then he'll be tired and sleeping. And I just really, like, sometimes I lag. So those are things that we recognize as the role shift. Like you said, we have to pick up the slack on the other end. So those are things that I personally feel like I need to get better at. And being able to recognize it is the first step. So once you recognize it and then you act on it, that's what's important. Because once you act on it, that's when your significant other knows that, you know what, he or she does care. I am important, so I don't just hold this little title next to them. I'm not just married, So it's definitely important to act on your role and not just to talk all the time. They say action speaks louder than words.
It's so true. It's so true. And just because we are spoiled, or maybe your mate or your spouse, or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, maybe they spoil you. Just because you can get away with something doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah.
You're still a person, and I can be open and transparent and say that for the first years of my marriage, there were just certain things my husband always did. He just always did it. Like, he didn't wait for me to ask. He just always did it. And now that we've added on 2 additional children, he started to burn out. So certain things that he just always did, I think that I overlooked. Maybe he needs some help. I just feel like, you've always done this. He's like, yeah, but I'm tired. And sometimes if you would help me with this, it would help me to be more energetic. Help your mate to help you.
Pretty much.
So when you help your mate, you're helping yourself. So if you help them by being a team player to do things that are out of your comfort zone to do, remind them of things if they forget, with love, switch roles sometimes, surprise them sometimes. I don't know. When you do that kind of stuff, you help your mate to help you. Because if I help him, he has more energy to help me. Okay.
Right,
so
exactly.
to help each other, with things so that you can help them to help you. It all goes together. And like I said, just because you're used to your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend always doing something for you, it doesn't mean that you should always allow them to do it.
Right.
Sometimes surprise them and say, you know what, you're not cooking tonight. I'm taking over. Your wife always cooks. Let's say your wife cooks 7 days a week. How about you flip the switch on her tonight?
Hey,
because people really do burn out, and people really get tired. And sometimes we do take people for granted when they're always there for us in certain ways. So,
and something you said, you were like, we grow, and we do grow. And sometimes, like, in a relationship, the growing is not always on level. So when you guys are growing together, you might growing kind of on different planes. You might kind of seem like you're bumping heads, but that person who's growing a little bit higher needs to just come down a little bit to support that next person and get them where they're at. To kind of have that understanding, like, yeah, he or she's going to get there, but let me just kind of put a little arm under them to help them up kind of the way. Let me be their crutch a little bit. So you can't grow at this rapid pace and think that your significant other is going to catch up with you. No, understand that if you want them to know what's going on with you as far as your growth, let them know. Talk to them, help them out, walk them through the entire process with you so you guys can grow together. So be that crutch, grow together, grow significantly, grow in abundance, and be happy, because that's the only way that you can. That's the best way to work your way through growth in a relationship, because eventually you both will meet that even plane, but that other person can't do it by themselves. If you're growing all alone, then you're leaving them behind in the dust. So you can't do that. So definitely try to be that crutch when you feel like you're elevated a little bit more than they are. Be that crutch to help them grow as well. Let them know that you're there to support them. Let them know some of the things that you're going through, and exchange roles, like Dallas said. So maybe they're not growing because they're stuck in that role. Exchange roles. See how things are in their feet and just kind of work it out, because that's the best way you can show appreciation for your significant other, especially in this business world, because we can get wrapped up in making profit and doing this thing for our family. It's all for our family. It's for our family. That's our excuse. It's all for our family. But you're leaving your family in the dust. So you have to be able to recognize
So true.
Yes, you have to be able to recognize that. You can't leave your family in the dust. You just can't do it.
Everybody says that, though. I guarantee you, if you take a room of people, and welcome into all of our new viewers, too. We're talking to you, too, here. We're talking about how to balance business and your relationship. So if you have anything to say, definitely chime in as you guys are coming in live. Say hello to us. Even our replay viewers, definitely drop us a comment below and spread the love by sharing and inviting this broadcast out. We greatly appreciate passing this movement along. So, yeah, definitely. If you put probably about 8 people in a room, I guarantee you that if you ask them, what is their why are they doing their business? They're going to say the same thing. They're going to say, oh, my family, oh, my kids, my husband is my why, my significant other is my why. But we are not making no time for them. They can't talk with us. They can't have a full out conversation with us because we are constantly on our phones. We are constantly on our computers. They can't even get our attention. We are literally leaving the very people that we said was our why. We're leaving them in the dust. We got to keep it real with that. And I had to keep it real with that. Like, how can I dare say, hey, Latasha, welcome in. How can I dare say that my family is my why, but I'm constantly leaving the very people that I love in the dust? I never have time for them. I can never pay them 5 minutes more of my undivided attention. I am so rushy with them. I'm so impatient. And guys, I'm talking to myself. I have to constantly check myself to make sure that what I say my why is, I'm making plenty of time for my why. I'm living in the moment with my why. I'm enjoying my why, which is my family, who I love dearly. They should feel it. They should know that you love them more than you love your business that you're showing up for so hard.